do it.
All right. Hello, hello. This is Joey. I'm a CTO over at Darkblock. We're going to do these weekly things. We're going to keep it casual, not too much structure. Kind of a lazy live stream, but hopefully we can geek it up. I'm very curious about projects that are using Dark Blocks. So we've got a special guest. Let me see if I'm doing this right. Hell yeah. Cosmic postcards. Tell the millions and millions of viewers who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks, Joey. Cosmic Postcards is a brand of ours where we create alternate reality games. So this is something that in the past we've done in real life. We've made games in cities around the country that are kind of interactive multimedia puzzles.
Yeah.
And when we started to get into what's possible with the blockchain, NFTs, kind of Web3 integrated modals and websites, we said, this is actually something that kind of lends itself to the type of game that we like to play. I would describe it as it's kind of part interactive art exhibit and part alternate reality game, if you will. So this particular project, we are piggybacking off of original IP that is from an NFT project called the Chain Runners. And Chain Runners is 10K PFP project that essentially created this this kind of universe of dystopian cyberpunk hackers. And the Renegade Runners and Renegade Comics is an offshoot in that universe where we're exploring some of the characters there and playing with folks that find their way into our universe along the way.
Uh, all right. Now you got me. I mean, were you guys like a card? Magic the Gathering. Like, how do you go? Like, how do you kind of go down this road? Like, where did you start with this puzzle?
I don't want to divulge too much
No.
about the previous puzzles because some of them are still
Gotcha.
in action. But if you can imagine, they if you can imagine walking into a coffee shop and seeing a flyer on the pin board there amongst all of the local offerings and classes and guitar lessons and whatnot, there may be a nondescript flyer there that says, "Are you looking for something? Call this number."
Dude,
And by the end of it, you would have visited, potentially numerous physical locations and interacted with folks that may be playing the game, or they may actually be actors that we've hired along the way.
that is amazing. Very cool. Okay, so Chain Runners sets you up. So what do you have going? So what's the Renegade Comics kind of angle? Like, what's that? What are you trying to do there?
Well, Renegade Comics, for all intents and purposes, is strictly for entertainment purposes. We intend to be fully compliant with all of the ordinances of Megacity. So, anything that we talk about in terms of hacking or theft or general things that may typically be against the rules and ordinances of Megacity, they're all for entertainment purposes. So we like to caveat that up front to say we're not encouraging anyone to do anything that's against those ordinances, and
Wow.
we feel that we're completely within the ordinances of those Megacity guidelines. Now, so within that context, we're a social club and a side quest game within the Chain Runners universe. So there's leaders within the sect, although there's also kind of groups within the sect that operate independently. We do try to kind of bring them together when there are these larger initiatives and games that we have to play with each other, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you think you're trusting a fellow renegade runner, but they're actually a Psalm Knight. That's just the world we live in Megacity.
Dude, I don't even I don't even have a handle on this expansive universe inside my universe. that you're kind of operating in. That's amazing.
Well, it all starts for us in the terminal, which is it's an unauthorized SOMNet protocol, which, SOMNet we're all familiar with in Megacity because it's kind of the primary network. But we built a little kind of game fork to kind of hack into the back end of SOMNet to start to play the game. And so that's kind of where the journey for Renegades begins on our end. It's kind of a test. So, if for us, we know someone that's truly a son of Somnus, they're Somnite full and through, they aren't going to be able to pass the initial test. So anyone that can hack the cipher on the initial bootjack hack, they're kind of a de facto Renegade runner.
Oh my. I'm having like I'm trying to keep up with like the worlds and the vocabulary. When I was a little kid and Dune came out, they gave us a glossary before you walked into the theater to keep up with the storyline. So I'm feeling that like some. I'm Googling here on the side. I didn't realize this thing was so deep and not just your project. Like it's a bigger thing.
It's a bigger thing. Yeah. There's people building. If you talk about just the chain runners universe alone, there's, because it's CC0 when it comes to the licensing for the actual assets.
I see.
So what that means is that, it's Creative Commons, and where something like a Bored Ape, right? Everyone's kind of familiar with that in the NFT world. A Bored Ape, when you buy that token, you own the IP rights. So you can go and you can create a band, you can sign a contract for that ape, you can sell that ape to a commercial. Chain Runners is CC0, so every single asset in there is open for anyone to use. So what that means is there's lots of, the family tree kind of starts to fork very, very quickly, if you will.
Yeah.
And so there's other projects that are going on that are building lore in that universe. And so we, acknowledge and interact with those from, occasionally, but are also kind of going along our own path as well. So what happens is, when it comes to the comic, is that since these assets are CC0, when someone passes that initial test and hacks the cipher, and they mint a bootjack manifest, then their wallet that holds NFTs, assuming it's the same wallet, if they hold any of these CC0 NFTs, those characters get pulled into the comic book. So we're doing this every 500 tokens. So the first 500 tokens, everyone that minted, we looked at those wallets and we grabbed all of for this first initial issue, their Chain Runners tokens. And so the characters in issue 1 are characters that are PFP tokens that the users actually hold in their wallets.
All right. So, and forgive me, but so I just watched Kenobi last night. Right, was the finale. I then go check New Rock Stars on YouTube to try to get all the Easter eggs and all the, is there somewhere on YouTube where I can, like, Chain Runners 101 for noobs? And
that's a good question. Yeah. I don't know if there is. There's definitely some resources out there if you're talking about the Chain Runners universe. I think there definitely is a wiki somewhere.
Yeah.
If you land on their website or in their Discord, I bet there is a link to that.
How do you guys keep all the storylines? Because so everyone can kind of go off in there since you have ownership, and everyone's kind of, there's like, 1,000 Kevin Feige's forking the multiverse. How do the things interweave? Like, do you have a secret meeting in Orlando? Or it's still early. It's so early. Everyone's just kind of doing their projects, and maybe they'll connect later on.
Yeah. Well, so I think, there is a central repository for lore.
Hmm.
So if you go to the actual Chain Runners website and look up the tokens, you'll see for certain tokens that there's lore that's attached to that token. So when you own the Chain Runner, you can go in there and edit that lore. So what we did for the Bootjack Manifest is that we went through every single piece of lore that anyone has written about their Chain Runner, and we pulled out references and particularly destinations and areas. If they referenced, a building that's in their character's lore or an area, we pulled those into the destinations that are on the Bootjack Manifest, and some of the items might reference some of that. So it's kind of a collective, collaborative world building that is self-referential in the terms of, anyone can kind of go out and see what other people have written, and then take that and do something else with it.
That's amazing. And then so revenue. I don't know if we talk revenue. I don't know, but as you want to, somebody's got to be making money to keep on uh, uh, populating or keep on creating content. So yeah, I didn't know it was all this. I thought it was a cool NFT and a comic book in this puzzle site. I didn't have a handle that I stepped into a whole other thing. Amazing. Can we talk about your?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean, well, you mentioned revenue specifically. I just
yeah,
wanted to point out
sure.
that our project in particular, we view as an art project
Mm-hmm.
first and foremost, and a social club, within the guidelines of Mega City. So we're nonprofit. All of the profits or revenues that come into the Renegade Runners universe, they go back into creation. So that's every 500 tokens, we're making a comic book, and also a few 3D assets. And we'll get into 3D assets maybe a little bit later.
Oh, so I'm a big VR AR. The future is digital hybrid. Like it's going to be very exciting and horrible and amazing. In 5 years, where we just strap on our Warby Parkers are running the Apple OS or whatever it's going to be, and the wallet connections are just done, and we customize our experience, our life experience, to a level that has never been done before. Okay. Do you want to do
I'm
show
here
and
for it, brother. Every day we become more and more one with the pixels.
and pixels are free
Show and
today.
tell.
Yeah, sure. But I'm curious when pixels start to cost money. Uh, or they are more and more every day. Like so, it's right click save goes away,
Well,
and
yeah, and we can definitely get into that, because I think that's probably a whole nother hour that we could do. But I think the long and short of it, for me, is I believe in the philosophy that is probably scarce land in digital worlds doesn't really make sense.
yeah.
So the chain runners and the 3D assets that we're making are all going to be interoperable with Nifty Island,
Mm-hmm.
the 3D metaverse that's kind of open world building.
Dude, I'm excited. All right, so show and tell. I am so excited. I'd like your perspective on how you, as a puzzle builder, like that's a whole other type of human, the guy who makes the puzzles for us knuckleheads to consume and solve.
Oh, and I'll have to, caveat up front that I'm a mere director and designer and hack of Solidity Dev, but we had a multifaceted team that
Amazing.
worked on all of these. So I'll try to call some of that out
Yeah.
as we're looking at it, but
Let me see if I can change
at
this.
the same time, not divulging too much. But this is, do you have me here?
I have you. I see the screen. Um, I see your
Okay.
screen. I think the video, for whatever reason, I'm in Austin, Texas, and Spectrum. Hey, Spectrum, please get your act together today. So I don't see you on video, but it's okay. I do see your screen. There you go. Yeah, we're all good.
So this is where things start, but this is Renegade Comics.xyz is kind of the repository for all things Renegade Comics. And some of that is some lore and logs. And there's maybe a few links down here, but really, kind of the missions are where the different adventures start. So our initial mission was the shipping manifest hack, and that takes place in the Bootjack terminal. And this is a place where you can mint that NFT. So I'll just show you this. I mean, if you type help in here, it'll give you kind of everything you need to know to get that done.
So I saw
you hacked to actually mint the NFT, yes, and this is the only one right now. Yeah.
No, I saw, connect your wallet. And I saw up in OpenSea, there's a whole marketplace of these. Are they clues? That's what I don't want to. I want no spoilers, so forgive me. Just tell me to shut up. But I feel like there's a whole group of NFTs that have different.
No spoilers. No, I won't. We can. Yes. So the shipping manifests are. So Mirage opened this up, and Mirage sent a message to the network that essentially indicated that she had found they were, we're not exactly sure about Mirage's gender. It changes depending on kind of what they're doing, but they indicated they had found a backdoor into Somnite communications that the Somnites thought were encrypted, and they started pulling them down, and they were actually shipping manifests of these shipments that were being sent into Mega City. And so it's interesting, kind of when you click into them, they contain all sorts of different things, from weapons, clothing, vehicle, contraband, footwear, hardware, gear, and they're coming from sectors outside of Mega City, and they're going to particular places within Mega City. This one's going to the Dorito Gang District. And so what these end up being are your player tokens, kind of your lore seeds, if you will, as you begin to play the game. And so someone that holds this token, they would now, in kind of this next phase of the game, skipping E-Town Heist, that was kind of game 0.1, but Chip Factory Heist, they would go in here and back into the terminal, and once you have this token in your wallet, then you're able to actually play the initial heist game. And so this heist is actually going to be referencing the tokens that are in your wallet. So there's different hardware that's needed for the heist that kind of plays a different choose your own adventure narrative as you plug into the heist. So for example, in heist number 1, we need folks that have Doritos dust.
Yeah.
And so as you play the choose your own adventure in the Bootjack protocol terminal here, you actually take your shipping manifest and you go and you use that to get the actual Doritos dust, which is needed for this heist. And so when you complete the heist, you then get the code to mint a comic. And so right now that is the only way. And these are things that are built into the smart contract. So you talked a little bit about puzzles and puzzle making and design. And so that was a big part of kind of the technical hurdle. Was one, initially just the hard-coded cipher on the initial manifest to begin with. So you have to crack a cipher code to be able to mint one of these. And that's something that's built into the smart contract, and it's something that's unique for every player. So that's not something that can be shared amongst the players. And then kind of similarly to get the comic, you have to have one of these manifests, and then you also have to complete the heist to unlock that code, and then subsequently mint one of the 4 covers of Renegade Runners issue 1. So there's 4 covers of varying rarity here. This being the one of one, I think then it's like 10, 50, and then 100. And the interiors of these are all the same. But yeah, that's basically it. So the concept is that kind of as more tokens are minted, we'll release more of these heists, and they'll involve different items that are listed on these manifests.
Yeah. Amazing. Like what a ritual. Like, if you want to be part of this club, you have to kind of pass the challenge. Amazing.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Feldstein, who is an incredible Solidity dev who worked with me on the Cypher hack for the original manifest contract. And this is really just a fork of the old loot NFT.
Oh yeah.
So this is like a fully on-chain text-based NFT. But when we were building this out, Michael, one of the first things he said was, let's build something that it's not going to be easy to mint. So I was completely on board with that from the very beginning. Like I would not be happier if, this was still minting 10 years from now, and 2P we're trying to crack the cipher. We kind of wanted it to be an anti-NFT from that standpoint.
Yeah. If you stop sharing your screen, I don't, man. I am a crap OBS guy, and I think I can get us back to. Oh, there we go. Thank you, sir. Yeah, what a great idea. Like I mean, dude, I've talked to your crew for months, and I didn't have a handle on that, and it's probably because I'm a knucklehead, but I didn't realize how far this rabbit hole went, and it's pretty deep.
Oh, and we didn't either. I still don't. There's so many different people that have contributed to this, and it's just kind of all culminating, and even I have to go in and kind of figure out what's what sometimes.
So when it comes to Darkblocks, and now a word from our sponsor. The idea, an advantage that we have with the Darkblocks, which is decentralized unlockable content that you can bolt on, not the right word to use, but you can connect to an NFT, and it would be it's content that only the NFT owner can unlock and consume. So you have these beautiful comic book art. The NFT itself is just the cover of the comic, but I want the story. I want pages. I want more. So what's the plan? You said 100 tokens sold, another page gets done. What was the? How does that work?
We're thinking it looks like every 500 tokens we can do a issue of the comic book, a heist, and a 3D asset. So what's incredibly powerful about the Darkblocks platform is, I mean, besides like the API access, the fact that it's immutable on Arweave, which is incredible, plug and play in terms of the viewer, it's just the token gated access. I mean, community and art and all these things that NFT people say that they're into NFTs for, like, whatever. Ultimately, the most powerful thing about NFTs is utility, and this adds real utility to NFTs in like a real tangible way. And when you start to play with this, you just realize all the different possibilities of actual real world applications. For us as game makers and puzzle makers, it's super powerful because we can customize the contents based on the tokens that people have in their wallets. And so for Renegade Comics issue 1, what that means is, and I don't think we've divulged this to anywhere, but what that means is that there's hidden within the text, so we can stay compliant to megacity guidelines and ordinances, but hidden within the text, there may be codes to unlock mints for 3D assets. And I think to not divulge our identities in connection to any potential theft or connection to stolen or hacked assets on the Somnet network, it makes it very easy and convenient for us to pass along that information to our users without publicly divulging that we're doing so.
Yeah. Dude, like, we're all going to be dead and gone, and there's going to be like this guy who discovers this, right? Like, this is it's such a treasure that you're not even going to fully get to appreciate the audience because these things...
That's the exact thought that we had in our head at one point. Kind of thought backwards of one day someone's going to be playing some kind of Fortnite type of game, and someone will whip out our, let's say, Blitztech grenade launcher that shoots rubber chickens, for another spoiler. And people are going to be like, what the hell is that? And where did you get it? Mm-hmm. And they're going to say, you're not going to believe what you have to do to get one of these.
Yeah.
And that to me would be the ultimate payoff.
Dude. And your great grandkids will and there's going to be a wallet, right? That somebody is the custodian of, that will notice it. Amazing. Yeah. Dude. All right. So I wanted to keep it short and tight. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I don't want to abuse your time. Dude, this has been amazing. I did not...
On my end, in terms of Renegade Comics and Renegade Runners, I think that we pretty well covered it, and maybe even gave some hints about what's upcoming. On the Darkblock side, I just would have to say that couldn't recommend it enough for any creators or builders that are out there that are looking to build on Darkblocks. The support from the team was phenomenal. The communication from everyone that we dealt with. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to do this without y'all. So we really appreciate y'all collaborating with us on this.
That is too kind. We're plumbers. We're building a ton of software, and it's the projects, it's the content that is the true utility. We're just plumbers. It is so impressive, the creativity, the imagination, the balls to kind of put these things together. So I am so happy to be able to know you, and that you showed and told today, because it's amazing.
This will be the only time we'll show or tell, probably.
Man, this is such secret handshake, cool stuff. All right, I'm going to end this. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you.
Thank you, Joey.
Yeah, this is. I just like the creative. So 1,000 years ago, I used to work. I worked at Steve Jackson Games. He's like an OG. I was his scanning boy. Which meant I scanned in this beautiful art that would come in pencils, and then there was a whole other team that inked everything. And I was a knucklehead. I was like 20. Ooh, I was young, and every once in a while you got to sit in the office with Steve, and he would just kind of ruminate and just blow your head off with the worlds he was building. And it's like this same, the hair standing up on end here. The same creativity that you guys are showing, and then you're a nerds to the nth degree, right? The contracts that are being written, that's just it's the future of art. Shakespeare would be a coder if he was alive today, because that's where the art...
well,
yeah.
Well, that's very gracious of you. Thank you for the compliment.
All right, I'm peacing out. Thank you, everybody watching Renegade Comics XYZ.
I think that's a good place to start.
Yeah. It's amazing. All right. Take it easy. Thank you all very much. And goodbye.
Bye.